This is problem number 2 for section 3.4. In this problem it says use a given graph to find the solution set of each equation or inequality. They give you a graph, they show you the x-intercepts or the roots, right? They give you the equation, but we don't even need that equation hardly, except for when we go to look at our inequality signs. So for part A, we already know the roots. So part A, if we were to solve this using either factoring the quadratic equation, we would end up with 3 for an answer and 5 for an answer. You can see that here. It goes from 0 to 10. 1, 2, 3. So x equal 3 is a solution, or x equal 5. So these are our solutions for part A. Now for part B, what we have to do is we have to determine, okay, x squared minus 8x plus 15 greater than 0. Now I've told you before you're going to draw a number line here. You'll see we already have the number line written right here. Right? There's the number line right there. Now what we do is we typically take 3 and 5, mark them on the number line, right? And then we say, all right, I'm going to plug in 0, I'm going to plug in a 4, and I'll plug in a 6. And then we take our calculator, which we're going to do here. We take our calculator, we plug in, we're going to plug in 0 into this function. So we're going to say 0, store it as x, and then we just write out that function. So x squared minus 8x plus 15. Okay. Now when you plug that in, you get 15. Now look at this here. It says greater than 0 for the first part, for part B. So we're looking part B, we're saying, is 15 bigger than 0? Because that's what we just got when we plugged in 0 into this function, right? Cancel that term, left with 15. Well, yeah, 15 is bigger than 0. So these are solutions. And then we plug 4 stored as x. And then we're going to say, grab that function. And we get negative 1. Is negative 1, right, greater than 0? No. And then we plug 6 in, store it as x. And we end up with 3. Is 3 bigger than 0? Yes. So our solutions are going to go from negative infinity up to 3, and then from 5 to infinity. So our solution set is going to run basically from right here, left, and from the right, this direction. So our solution set here is going to run this way and this way. Okay? Now, for the solution set for x squared minus 8x plus 15 less than 0, it's actually going to be the exact opposite of that. Okay? So it's going to be inside 3 and 5, and you'll see that here. If we draw it for part C, so this would be negative infinity to 3, union 5 to infinity. And I'm using parentheses because it does not have an equal sign there. Now if I do part C here, I draw the number line, and I get, again, 3, 5. I'm going to plug in 0, 4, and 6, and I remember the numbers I was given here. So on the first one, well, I can look. If I plug in 0, I get 15. I get this cancels, 15 less than 0. No. When I plug in a 4, right, you can see it here. I plugged in a 4, stored as x. I plugged in, I got negative 1. Is negative 1 less than 0? Certainly. And then finally, I plug in 6, and 6 did not work because I got 3 is 3 less than 0, so it does not work for this situation. So our solutions are going to lie in between 3 and 5. So we can write that as 3, 5 for the solutions there. So, how do we tell this from the graph? Well, from the graph, if you have something that is less than 0, so if you have an upward facing parabola like so, and you have something that is less than 0, okay, like this part C, it says this quadratic is less than 0. Our solutions, and I'm going to mark this here, that this is how I'm going to mark the solution. Our solutions are going to be right in this area here. They're going to go from the x-axis down to the function. But if we're looking at greater than 0, okay, so if we're looking at greater than 0, our solutions are going to go from the x-axis right here. They're going to go up this direction, and then same way this direction. And that's going to be for part B. So you can see that the x-axis, right, if it says less than 0, when you have an upward facing parabola, the x-axis to the function, that's the less than 0, right? That's where the function is less than 0. For the other part, greater than 0, that's going to be from the x-axis up until you touch the function. So I hope that makes sense how that works. The blue represents our solutions that are outside of 3 and 5, right? And the purple represents the solutions that are below the x-axis, in between the function and the x-axis.